Oi, oi, hello and welcome to the final Cheltenham Festival Trends video, specifically for Gold Cup Day, day 4 in this video. There will be links in the description as per for each of the individual race written articles. You can go give them a click and you'll be able to see some more detail other than just the bullet point headline trends that I will peel out in this video. Cheat sheets are done too. So for each of these days, I've done every single race, but I also do a cheat sheet for each day too, which has a nice little visual that you can save onto your phone. And yeah, it surmises basically the sort of the key trends for each race. Has a cheat sheet quote in there that basically would say to you, I don't know, if you wanted to paraphrase what it takes to win the Triumph Hurdle, for example, it would be X, Y, and Z. And off the back of those as well, if it's applicable or if it's possible for me to do this, I've added in a trends tip selection in there too. So even just off the top of my head, Chianti Classico was definitely one last year. Better Days Ahead was definitely one in the Martin Pipe last year. Look, there was multiple that came out. So sometimes it might just be that it's a favourite that comes out and you don't need the trends to see it, but lots of exciting information out. They are all available on the GG website. So go and check those out. And just before I crack on with the details in it, because I'm going to keep this as a 10-minute video, 10-minute trends, because it sounds nice, right? Let me know in the comments below if there's anything specific you'd like me to do for next Sunday's video. So we will have day 1 final declarations. I'll record that video. Potentially I can wait up until Sunday to do it. If you guys have got any ideas of something that would be very interesting for you to see on the Sunday video, the Sunday before the Cheltenham Festival. So I'll put that out to you guys. Obviously up to now we tend to have stuff scheduled, but I don't know, maybe we can have some wiggle room with GG that if you guys put a good idea up, we'll do it. I'll make that happen if that is the case, if there's a good one in there. So yeah, drop that in the comment below. Make sure you subscribe as per usual. Make sure you're liking the video just to be nice. I don't know, say a comment if you want to say a comment, especially like I say, if you fancy something for next Sunday. Fingers crossed you enjoyed the Cheltenham Festival preview that we banged out. If you haven't already seen that, definitely go give it a chance to have a watch of it. It's just over an hour, but it's been broken up of a quiz in between. You can skim to different sections in there and you can go right to the end and you can just see all the selections if you're that way inclined. Right, waffling over. It's never over, is it? The waffling will never end. But let's crack on with Friday's top line trends. So the Triumph Hurdle is the race that we're going to kick on with. Likely to be priced 6-1 or shorter, and you want to respect favourites in this race. The winning outsiders would typically be priced 20-1 to 33-1. Not expected to have run at Cheltenham, but should have won there if they have run at Cheltenham. Does not need to be unbeaten this season. Has 1 to 3 runs this season. And if they ran in the Spring Juvenile, they will have placed top 4. So in that race, many winners have come from that particular race, but it's not always the winner of the race. Lots of horses that have been sort of 4th, 3rd and 2nd have won that. Maybe one that was 4th. But obviously there's more horses that would fill those places year in, year out. But that's the point for the Triumph Hurdle. Now, moving on to the second race of the day, the County Hurdle. Likely to be aged 5, 6 or 8 years old. No second favourite winner since at least 1988. That's as far back as my records go. No winning second favourite in the race. Look for an official rating of 134 to 141 and carrying 10 stone 5 to 11 stone 1. Again, if you click the links in the description for these particular articles, you'll see the deep dive into official ratings and weights. I say deep dive, it's a bit more detail than I'm talking about in here, let's put it that way. Ideally finished top 3 last time out. Probably has no more than 1 win this season. Has 1 to 3 career hurdle wins and not more than 5. So typically we've had horses that have come in here quite unexposed. I know you've had to have the 5 runs for novices in there, but still, even the older ones, has 1 to 3 career hurdle wins, but not more than 5 would be the preference, and probably doesn't wear headgear or a tongue tie. Now, some people, when they do the headgear stats, may include tongue tie as part of it. I don't. So headgear's the cheek pieces, blinkers, those types of stuff. Tongue ties a breathing apparatus. So I have them as 2 separate measures in here. And again, if you read the links in the description, where relevant, headgear and tongue ties are brought into play. Mare's Chase, we have only had 4 renewals of this, so potentially could be quite short and sweet, but off the small sample that we do have, will be aged 7 or 8, likely to be priced 3-1 or shorter, 1 last time out, has 3 runs this season, is rated 147 or higher, but is not the official highest rated runner. Only one winner has had that title, so the highest rated runner that did win the race, but it also was the joint highest, and it beats the other joint highest. So you could also argue that every single top rated runner has been beaten in this race. Like I say, only 4 renewals in there. Some of those things, though, they might start to stack up as they've done in the last couple of years, where maybe we might have questioned the validity of doing trends on these types of races. Moving on to the Albert Bartlett, most likely to be aged 6 or 7 years old. Unlikely to come from the top 4 in the market. Look to runners priced 14 to 1 or bigger. It's a 77% return on investment in the last decade alone. And I believe that's to SP as well. Obviously, bigger price winners, you can get a bit more juice to them if you went to the Betfair exchange. But yeah, 77% return on investment in the last decade alone. That's mega. Holds an official rating of 135 to 145 or doesn't yet have an official rating. Placed top 4 last time out, but not required to have won last time out. Typically, we get these novice hurdles, especially the grade ones, you'd look at a horse that has won last time out as being an essential, not for the Albert Bartlett. Likely to have been beaten this season, and they should have won at 23 to 25 furlongs if they've already tried the trip. So there may be some horses that are trying 3 miles for the first time. You potentially give them the benefit of the doubt, but if they've already tried it, they should have won at about the trip. Now, moving on to the Gold Cup. Key trends is called Galloping Destroyer. No, I'm joking. The winner will be 9 years old or younger. Respect favourites. They are profitable to back blind this century and in the last decade. It is the sort of flagship event of National Hunt Racing, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest feature race of the Cheltenham Festival. And while we do have favourites that come in here, there does tend to be, I guess, some value in those ones, which we can see there. They're profitable to back blind this century in the last decade. So even though there's some shorties in there, stick with those. But again, I know he's real short this year. Most likely to be a single figure priced winner. So there are obviously places up for grabs, aren't there, depending on the number of runners, but the winner's likely to be single figure priced. Has an official rating of 166 or higher. Ideally has 2 or more wins at 3 miles plus and a 40% or higher chase strike rate. So they would have won 40% of their chase races. Must have previously run at Cheltenham and preferably more than once. Must be a grade 1 winner and preferably a multiple grade 1 winner. And they will have at least placed at a previous festival. So again, Galloping Destroyer is probably going to go and win a Gold Cup. These trends are profiling the type for a winner. If you want to try and find some value outside of those, then I guess most of the trends don't need to be as relevant, but you know, they could still be good pointers to, I don't know, this horse ticks most of the boxes, but he's a 20 to 1 poke. Maybe that's where you chance your arm. Hunters chase trends. I'll definitely not profess to be any sort of expert in this field, but when we're doing these trends profiles, it is specific to that. It's looking at the patterns that have happened in the renewals over the last decade and this century to see if we can identify any likely profiles. So likely to be aged 10 or 11 years old. Ignore runners priced bigger than 8 to 1 and shorter than 14 to 1. No winners this century. So ultimately, horses that are priced bigger than 8 to 1 but shorter than 14 to 1 haven't won this century. Look for runners with an official rating of 135 to 141. Probably last ran 20 to 41 days ago. Probably ran in a rules hunter chase last time out. So in this particular race, some horses may come straight from a point to point. Has 3 or more chase wins under rules. So again, that's not including point-to-point wins. Under rules, they should have 3 or more chase wins. Probably has run at Cheltenham. Probably has already run at 26 to 27 furlongs. Only accept headgear runners if they're in cheap pieces and they are actually profitable to back blind. So horses wearing any other type of headgear, you don't want to include those in your shortlist. Moving on to the finale. I can't believe we're here. The last race of the Cheltenham Festival, the Martin Pipe Conditional Jockeys Handicap Hurdle. This is a race where there'll be lots of horses that are fancied, and let's see if we can profile who they might be. They're going to be 5 to 7 years old. There's only been 1 winning favourite in the race's history. Typically priced between 9 to 2 and 12 to 1. There's a 35% return on investment back in that blind in the last decade. Respect last time out winners. They're unlikely to be an unbeaten horse. Probably has between 1 and 2 wins over hurdles, but no more than 4. A tongue tie being worn is not a negative unless it's a first time tongue tie. And they will have raced at 19 to 21 furlongs. Bonus if they won at that trip too. So they are the trends for Gold Cup Day, day 4 of the Cheltenham Festival. Make sure you've liked the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Drop a comment below if you're that way inclined, especially for some content for next Sunday. And we'll see you again very soon.